Please be seated. Please be seated. The heart of the Father is large. He is good and his mercies endure forever. And if you want to key into permanence, you want to key into glory, you want to key into the business of the kingdom of God. God does not play with his kingdom. All he is here about is for his kingdom, is for people. God is not into religion. God is into raising sons and daughters, like the one sitting here, for his purposes, for his kingdom. And I also want to acknowledge and thank you, all the young people who are here, because I know in your generation, this Valentine thing is a very, very serious matter. Very serious matter. The Valentine is so crazy. In fact, so in my generation, it wasn't, or maybe because I was in the village, I never heard about Valentine. But now it's so popular that commercial institutions, take advantage of it. That's when they make more sales and they make more pitches. That's when, we all wear red, out there and share love. But for you to leave those things, to come here and to be here today, it tells me something about the quality of the people who are in this room. So thank you for being here. And thank you for inviting us. Okay, so let's continue from where we stopped in the morning. Remember, our daddy here, Dr. Cosmas, and then Auntie Dere have shared incredible insights and knowledge that it's only their humility and kindness that brought them here to be able to share, from that knowledge. See, but like I said, the most important thing is taking effective action. Is acting on the things that we know. Remember James chapter 1, verse 26 that we read here. He talked about those who are actually doers. And if you've listened to everybody that you've listened to this weekend, you can tell that we are doers. So it's not in the listening, it's not in the acquiring of information, but it's actually doing it. So, and I said that there are 4 pillars of the billionaire mentality. We started with purpose. We've spoken so much about purpose. And there's a quick exercise I want all of us to do here before we leave purpose. The day that I fully decided to quit Shell, I was in the Netherlands. I was doing a project for Shell at the Shell International Office in Rijswijk. I had become increasingly unrestful in my spirit about, it was a great job, but I wasn't getting fulfillment. A lot of people have always wondered, how did you quit Shell? Were you a contract staff? Because how can somebody quit that kind of job? No, I wasn't a contract staff. But something was going on in my spirit around that time. I knew that I was created for more. I knew that because when I was a teenager, I was about 15, 16. I read a book called The Mustard Seed Conspiracy. I haven't seen it. I read it as a young person. And that book so touched me. It was talking about Pacific, African, and Caribbean countries, the gospel in those regions. And God used it to minister to my young heart and gave me a word which he called my life verse from Genesis 12, verse 2. He said he was going to make me great, make my name great. So some of you know me as Ogbo the Great. It wasn't a guy name. It was actually a revelation I had as a teenager that he was going to make my name great and he was going to use me in these Pacific, African, and Caribbean countries. Way back at that time. So here I was, having this very working for Shell or Chevron. Anytime I was traveling abroad or I was going to Escravos in Kims, offshore, they They will send the spy vehicle, with police escort all the way from my house at Igbo to the airport. We were on the road. So it felt really cool. And then by the time you're getting to the airport, you have all the protocol people waiting, wearing the shell thing. They came, opened car door, took my luggage, went, because it was business class, would go, and while I'm standing by, they will check me in, get the boarding pass, and I will go to the business class lounge and wait there. And then when it is time, there's all kinds of things you eat there, you can drink there while waiting for your flight. And when it was time, you wouldn't go there, rushing with the crowd. They just came and told you that, you can board business class people. As you are entering there, those air hostesses will come to you. Hey, Mr. Ogbo, because I already know your name, and if you're in business class, it's a different sort of thing. Shall we take your jacket? I said, oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So they will take my jacket, and then they will hang it in that special place for business class passengers. And then as I'm sitting down, 2A, 2B, 2D, that's it. Just sit down there. And then I hardly sit down, and then they will come. Oh, champagne or water or orange juice. I said, please give me water. The journey is still far. It was good. It was such a beautiful life. But while in it, I was dying inside. It got so bad that when it was time for work, I would be there sleeping. My wife would be saying, won't you go to work today? And I knew that was a sign that I needed to do something else with my life. So while I was in Holland on this project, I had this epiphany, and I knew that I was going to leave. So I took paper. Drew a line in the middle, and then crossed it. So I call that T-shaped thinking. And then I asked myself, what would it be like if I stayed in Shell for the next 10 years? What would be the risks? What would be the opportunities? I wrote all those down on one side. And then on this other side, I said, what would it be like if I left? So if I stayed versus if I left. So if I stayed, what were the risks? What were the opportunities? If I left, what were the risks? What were the opportunities? I wrote down all the things that are possible that could happen. Then I discovered that staying was risky, leaving was risky. I decided I was going to leave. But before I did that, I did an exercise, which is where I'm coming. I said, what were the 100 things I must accomplish before I die? That was the exercise that did it for me. That was the exercise. So I sat down, I made a list of all the things I wanted to do. In fact, the top 3 on the list was, number 1, my wife. I want to love her and care for her so much that Jesus will be proud of me. And that when I'm dead and then they put me in that coffin, that she will stand there and tell the whole world that this was the best husband who was alive. That's the very first one. Then I had something about raising godly children who would make honorable decisions wherever they were in the world and things like that. So I had things like that on the list. I also had things around business. I had things around impact, people in the world, places I want to go, take the kingdom to, in Pacific, African, and Caribbean countries. So I had all those things. So the next question was, if I'm where I am right now, going the way I was, will I be able to achieve these 100 things? Because what I put there was, I don't want the day I'm dead, looking back, or the day I'm leaving this world, looking back, to see that my life was useless. I wanted a situation where if I'm on my deathbed and I looked back, I would say, yes, this was a life well lived. And I'll be expecting to hear from Jesus, well done, thou good and faithful servant. I wanted that kind of life. I hated it to be that when I'm dead and people are coming there and they're giving tributes, that all they will be saying, he was a big man in Shell, he did upstairs in the village, he had a $100,000 car. Isn't that going to be the worst tragedy of anybody's life? If at the time you're dead, that's all they will say. Oh, he was a big man in Shell. He worked where? He worked in Shell. He built a house. He trained his children abroad. I said, God forbid. That's not the future. And that's not the life I want to live. So when I came back, God orchestrated it in such a way that Shell was doing what they call selective voluntary severance. And I took the package and left. Here we are today. And then since that time, I look at my list. I've done, a couple of them, but there's a lot more. There's a lot more to be done. And I will still come back to that when we talk about one of the pillars. So what I want you to do right now, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, everybody, starting from now. Write as many things. Don't overthink it. In your note, write 100 things. You might not get up to 100, but brainstorm. As it comes into your spirit, just write it. Don't think about it. Write 100 things I must accomplish before I die. Your time starts now. Welcome to a coaching session. Write as many, don't overthink it, and don't think small. Don't think small. And don't overthink it. As it's flowing, just write it. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. I remember in my own case, I also had to read the Bible once every year. And things like that. Think about your spirituality. Think about your health. Think about impact. Think about your business. What is it that will be an expression of God and His kingdom through you? "45 more seconds. Okay, good. Well done. When you go back, you can continue with that exercise, but you get the feel. All right, I need some microphones. Who would like to share maybe 2, 3 of something on your list? Yes, quickly. Thank you. I love these young people. I love your church. People raise their hands. There are some places I ask questions, and then before somebody will raise their hands, you have to coerce. That's excellent. Okay, so please share 2 of yours. The reason you share, I know it's not everything that I can share, but the reason that you share some of these things is that once you speak them out, it registers in the spirit, and people, hear it like you've heard some of mine. So you are going to be watching out, for this man in the next 70 years. Where is this? What is he doing here? This man said he will be in the Pacific. He will be traveling to the Caribbean. Why is he still in Oka? All right. So because you've heard it, yes. Share just 2. Who is next?
The first thing on my list is become a medical doctor.
No, we can't hear you.
The first thing on my list is to become a medical doctor.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And the second, to love my family more than ever.
Excellent. I love that. Yes. Just stand up and the mic will come to you. Then I need a mic on this side. Yes.
First thing on my list is to pass my council exam.
Okay.
And get my PhD in nursing.
And get what?
A PhD in nursing.
PhD. All right. Okay. Let's hear from a brother here quickly.
Yeah, to love the Lord the more than I have done ever.
Here. To do what?
To love the Lord the more than I have done ever. To affect others' life, and then to live a healthy life and affect others with it.
Okay, very good. Let's hear from him. Michael.
to raise amazing kids for God and to raise 10,000 young leaders across Africa.
Excellent. Okay, so and I like that. See, put numbers, you need to put it in a way that it can be measured. Don't just say, for instance, I want to become a medical doctor. You say, I will become a medical doctor by 2030. Don't just say, I want to write books. Say, I want to write or to complete 12 books by such and such. Okay, one more exercise in that pillar, and then we'll go to the next pillar. Let me explain this exercise. One of the most important things you can do for yourself, if you want to be on this billionaire journey, the very first thing you want to do is to define what success means to you. It will save you. It will keep you from unnecessary comparisons. Because the scripture said those who compare themselves with themselves are what? They are not wise. And I can see that one of the viruses of this generation is comparisons. You compare yourself with the things you see on Facebook, and then you compare your journey with other people's journey. You can't look at me and start comparing, or look at Dr. Madoka and start comparing, because where he is at the stage of his journey. So you can't compare your starting with somebody else's, somebody else's or else is already 100 kilometers, but you're starting at 1 kilometer, and you're comparing yourself. And then the other thing it does for you to define what success means to you is amazing. It helps you to focus. It helps you to focus, and it also helps you to enjoy your life, to have joy in who you are, because a lot of us are not very happy with who they are. You're comparing yourselves with images in social media, especially our young ladies, because they tell you, you go to television, they tell you what they think beauty. Who told you? So social media defines beauty, and then before you know it, you're calibrating yourself against certain metrics that are not taking you anywhere. And then the reason you also define what success means to you is that it helps you to know what to optimize in your life. It helps you to have a reason to wake up every morning. And then it helps you to have a reason to be breathing this oxygen that we are taking for granted. All right. What does success mean to you? You want to define it. Let me give you my example as a coach so that you can also take some cue. I defined what success means to me. I looked at the list of the 100 things that I want to accomplish before I died. Success means to me that I live now this is my own. I mentioned it in the afternoon, and I like that your pastor came to expand on that a little bit more. But you see, the scripture, so God has a way of wiping our records, because none of us was saved by being righteous or by being moral. God didn't save me because I was moral. He didn't save me because I was morally pure. Nobody was. He said, it's not by the works of righteousness that we have done, but it's through his grace. But I'm telling you and encouraging you, young people, the life of purity is powerful. For me, that's a definition of how my success. That is actually number one. My number one definition of what success means to me, that I'm able to live a pure life and a disciplined life, especially around the opposite sex. Because I look at the life of Joseph, I look at the life of people like Daniel, I look at the life of Jesus, the Lord Jesus himself, or Paul, and I see that purity is power. So like they said, if you have failed, God is able to wipe your slate completely clean as if you never. Somebody said that justification means just as if you never did it. He wipes, and the grace that saves a person who never did it, who was pure, is not different from the grace that saves that terrible prostitute or armed robber and other. All of us were saved by the same grace. And then before God, every one of us. Romans chapter 3, verse 23. For all, me, every one of us have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Romans 6:23, the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ. So why I keep on saying it? Because I work with young people and I have seen things and I've heard things. I'm on social media. I see what your generation posts. So I still talk about it, and the reason I talk about mine and then he talks about it is not to show that I'm holier or more righteous. Because me, I've also talked about I also talk openly about my struggle with pornography. I talk about it. So it's not like I'm sent. I talk openly about the struggle I had for years with pornography. And then how I came out of it. So it's for the same reason. I'm talking about my purity, how I got married at 30, pure, chaste. How I've been married for 30 years, pure, chaste. It's not because, so now, they came to tell Jesus, oh, have you heard about those Judeans that Herod mixed their blood with a sacrifice? So Jesus did not stay there and start, oh, that's terrible. Oh, all this ritual killing. And not, no. What did he say to them? What did he say? Anybody? Except you. See, Jesus doesn't paint. He tells you the way it is. He said, except you do what? You shall likewise do what? Perish. So that grace that wipes you clean comes through repentance. So you can't say, okay, God's grace is there for me. Then you continue in that life. It's going to hurt you. So for me, success, number one, is purity, living pure. Because the thing gives me, number one, good conscience. Number two, it gives me a lot of confidence to stand and speak anyway. Prophet Samuel stood up before the whole nation. And I remember, the day my sister preached on that verse many years ago, maybe in the 1970s, I still remember, Bama, Bagidem, that's the way they put it in. Samuel said to the whole nation, if I have taken your goat, if I have taken your sheep, if I have taken advantage of your wife or your daughter or something, he said to the whole nation, come out here, say it and testify against me. And, so I look at myself and I said, I want to live in such a way that can actually come out anywhere and tell people and say to people, testify against me. So that's what success means to me. Success means that I am in control of my time. That I don't have somebody who will be telling me this is the time to go to break. This is the time to come back, to come and clock in. That's for me. I'm not saying it's for you. I'm just giving you some examples. Success means that I eat good food. I can afford any food I want. I can live anywhere I want. I can travel anywhere I want at any time. Success means that to me. Success means that I have set up a system, assets that create income for me while I sleep, and that I do not have to work for the rest of my life to survive. That if I must work, I work because I want to work, not because I have to work. So that's what it means to me. Success means to me that I'm able to adopt children. I have a lot of that. I'm able to adopt children from different countries in the world, adopt them, help them. So now we have two girls that we adopted. One from Tanzania, she's a Maasai, and then the other one Ghanaian. We're taking care of their school up to the university level. That is success to me. You understand that? So success means I can sleep well at night, and then my money will not come to argue with me at 2 a.m. All right. So you now have the next 60 seconds. What does success mean to you? So now, before you do that, what that does for me is that when I see somebody online, oh, this and that and that and that, I do not compare myself to him, because that's not success to me. So when I see somebody showing off his Rolls Royce, showing off his mansion, showing off, somebody did a 40th birthday, a couple of, was it 40th or 50th birthday? We couldn't hear for the rest of, and people were so successful that he's successful. And then people were coming, throwing 100 million at him and things like that. That is their own definition of success, but that's not mine. So I don't envy him. That, for me, that's not success at all. For me, in fact, that's foolishness. So I do not compare myself to him. Do you understand it? Any question? All right, go ahead. Take the next 60 seconds. What does success mean to you? So that when you see it, you will know it. And you'll stop comparing yourself with other people. Paint a picture. You can complete the sentence like, for instance, I know I am successful when, then fill in the blank. I know I am successful when I no longer have to work for money, but my money works for me. I know I am successful when I am generating 1 million naira passively every week. Things like that. I know I'm successful when I enter a restaurant and I no longer have to ask how much. I just order what I want, not what my pocket wants. Okay? Take 10 more seconds, but this is something you will work on more, when you go. So I'm sure don't have time for you to finish everything, but okay, great. All right. Let's take somebody from this line who wants to share very quickly. One person from this line. One person from this line. We haven't gotten anybody from here. Just take the first hand. Yeah, give to that hand at the back. No, you shared the last time. Let's get a few more people. Who else wants to share here? If there's nobody here, go to that line at the back. That side at the back. We haven't heard from that. Okay. Yes. Quickly, what does success mean to you?
I wrote that success means when I see smiles on people's face, those whom I've helped, and I see them happy.
Excellent. I love that. Thanks. Give to my sister here. Yes, quickly.
Okay, I know I am successful when I am generous to the poor and needy.
Okay. I need you to think about, because before you are generous, you remember the scripture we read from 2 Corinthians 9? Something has to happen to you. You have to have it because you can't give what you don't have. So I would like to hear more in terms of your financial setup. Like I said, success means when I have a system where my money is working for me, when I'm no longer using my capital to fund my vacation, but maybe it's the dividends from my investment that is doing it. Success also means to me that I earn money every single day. It took me years to set that up, but I earn money. So I have what I call everyday money system that I teach in my mentorship group. So every day I earn money in local currency and in USD. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. Sometimes it may be just $5, sometimes it's $10, sometimes it's $20. It must come every single day. I set that up. It took me years to set that up. To me, that's success. So every day in the morning, I set up my phone in such a way that the only alert, the only thing that rings, makes sound on my phone is credit alert. And then the system I set up, they pay every 4 a.m. So the system I set up, because I have things, that's part of, we don't have time to teach all that, but Dr. Cosmas said something that I think many of us missed. Today, I know Benga, by the way, because they are my clients, and I help them define their mission statement that they have right now, endless possibility. I read the workshop that defined that. Today, this thing you have in your hand. You see what many of you use it to do? Yeah. Oh no, I'm young when it comes to that because I'm very close to you people. That's what you do and you post there. But this thing you're holding in your hand is a money-making machine. This thing you are holding in your hand, nobody who has this has data should complain about money anywhere in the world you have, because you see, technology, the financial markets, and AI have democratized wealth. But you're using this to do that and do that. But people are using this because the money I'm making is also from here. The more you do those things and do that, the more I myself, I use it to make money. And I set it up every single day. People are buying something from me because I have digital products. Before I started coming here, somebody from the US had bought, because people can pay. Some of you know seller.com, where you can sell, things. So I have things that people are buying. Someone in Australia is buying. Before I came, a lady from United States have bought $125 every single day. That's success, to me. Quiet. If I didn't tell you, there's no way you will know. But that's success to me. And that's why we never come, when you are posting and it's enough for me. So when you are posting your cars and your private jet and all that, that's your own success. But mine, I've succeeded today. I have a system that generates that daily income and then automatically converts it to asset. He was talking about investing in stocks. I don't know if any of you is in the mentorship group, but when I recommended the Initiate PLC last year it was 2 naira a share. So I'm talking to you. In fact, it hit almost 22 naira last week. So if I bought 2 million shares of TIP last January, today the 2 million at 4 million, today that 4 million has turned into 40 million. Quietly, no noise on social media. But I wake up in the morning, I look at my asset, and I'm thankful and I rejoice. And I don't care about what car somebody is riding, whatever. Why? Because I've defined what success means to me and I'm seeing it happen quietly. You will never know. If not that we have a forum like this, and then I'm able to tell you. Let me give you a sentence that you need to write down before. You see, poor people repeat tasks, but wealthy people repeat systems. So I know I'm successful when I have a system, a repeatable system. So you look at, again, a poor person wakes up in the morning to go to work. But a rich person wakes up in the morning to see what worked while he was sleeping. Do you see the difference? So not every waking up is waking up. Not every good morning is the same good morning. So some of you wake up in the morning, you're rushing to work, you wake up to go to work. But wealthy people wake up to see what worked while they were sleeping. Like my friend Warren Buffett said, if you don't set up systems that make money while you sleep, he said you would die working. And that's what's happening in many parts of the world. All right, who has a microphone? So I want to see more about, since we are talking about the Billionaire Masterclass, I want to see more about what success means to you in terms of even having that money, that grace to be able to share generosity. Yes. And then the last, is there anybody there?
Praise the Lord.
Okay, yes.
Okay, what
Success.
I wrote. Success means building consistency in what I already know.
Consistency in what you already know. The last one over there. Who has
Celebrity all.
Is doing what?
For me, I define success as being able to help people without looking at my account balance.
Without looking at your
account balance.
I like that. Fantastic. Thanks. There was a time in my book, which was Atedo Peterside wrote the preface. He liked one particular phrase I used there. I wrote a book, Financial Freedom for Every Busy Professional. So in that book, I said something about that you know you are rich when you can make money faster than your wife can spend it. So until that, don't come out here and tell us that you're rich. If you can give your card to your wife, let her go to Dubai, and you don't care, That's when you're rich. So I'm not there yet. That's my next level of success. But I'm trying small because she has her money, but I give her what I call no questions asked money. That's the money you give. It's not her business what she does with it. How many people are married here? Can I see your hands up? Okay, very few. So wives, take note. I know you people normally like it when I say it. Okay, there's no questions asked money. Okay, so the second pillar in the billionaire mentality, the second pillar is plan. Plan. So the first pillar is purpose. The second pillar is plan. You must have a plan. Money plan. Money plan. So it's not enough to just have those dreams and then have those big numbers in your head and big desires. You must have a money plan, that speaks to how this will happen. So let me break it down for you. There are three money skills, wealth skills. It's not more than three. And I like keeping things, in my coaching, in threes, because three, very easy to remember. Because if I start giving you 11, or I start giving you 27 principles, you can't, So there are only three skills, when it comes to wealth, that you need to master. Anybody, whether it's a billionaire or somebody just starting. And I'm using M's to make it easy for you to remember. The first skill is money making. Money making. You must have money making skills. Because until you actually make the money, nothing moves. There are money making skill. That's number one skill. Can I tell you the greatest money making skill? Anybody wants to know? It's called selling. Sales. And many of you here don't sell. You can sell your way out of any financial problem. Selling. But you see, when we talk about selling, the only thing you people have in mind, for those of you who have stayed in Lagos, you hear ice cream tuture, cold, how did they say it? Cold water tuture. Does anybody speak Yoruba here? Cold water tutu. Tutu is already cold. And then say cold water tuture. Okay, if it's in Oka, Okpa. That's what we think is selling. And that's why many of us are not selling. But selling is simply solving problems. Consulting. Selling is solving problems. Can I tell you something about problems? Problems are payment in disguise. Problems are payment in disguise. How can you say you lack money? How can you say it when there are problems around you to be solved? So that's what selling is. That is the greatest money-making skill. When I finished, when I started my consulting, I discovered I was not getting clients. I was certified coach. I do what I do very well, very, very transformational. But I was not getting the clients. And then sometimes I'll get a client in February. And then I will not see another client until November, until the next year. But then I saw younger people. There was a time everybody was a coach in Nigeria. I don't know if you remember. Coach this, coach that. So some of us even started becoming ashamed, embarrassed. As little children. But they were making so much money. I remember one in Unilag. She said she was coach something, and then she was coaching people on how to use WhatsApp to make money. So I registered. I paid. And the day that my coach was supposed to coach me, I saw she was the one. He was running around looking for. I saw in the video, she was running around looking for where there is light and where network is stable. Very young girl. It was probably like 18 or 19, but she was my coach. And she was making money. So I had to sit down with myself. I said, what is going on? I am executive coach, trained, professional. Very, very good. But I wasn't selling. And then you see all these young people. In fact, what I now did, I deliberately entered the funnel of one of them. He was teaching mini export. I wanted to learn the secret. So I subscribed to his channel. By the time I subscribed and got into the Telegram group, I was like number 100 and something, about number 140. The next day, there were 1,500 people. I called him. I said, listen, I want to be honest with you. I didn't just, I don't want to be a mini shipping person. That I wanted to learn from you, how you are doing this, your marketing funnel and all that. So I said to him, how much is 1 hour of your time? I need you to spend time with me. I need to pay you to teach me how you are doing this thing. So he quoted an amount. I did not price him. I wired him the money immediately. Our daddy was talking about mentorship in the afternoon. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
My son asked me to pay for his 2-3 days training in US for $22,000. It's the man that sells the product that tell you the price.
Exactly.
You think you get the value. And some people are paying $25,000.
Exactly. That's exactly what we are talking about. You cannot make money if you cannot sell. Last year, I don't know why I'm quoting money, but because since he has already quoted money, in 1 month, I launched a program. In 1 month, and it was in 1 month, a total of the dollars and the naira in 1 month, that particular month, came up to about 65 million naira in 1 month for one project from selling. And I discovered when I sell, money comes because money is it comes as a result. There's a trigger. Something triggers money before it comes. You don't just wait in your house and then money will come. You have to trigger it, and that trigger is selling. You've got to sell something that people find very valuable, that solves their problem, and then command the price. We shouldn't be shy about money. I used to be shy about money, and then will undervalue myself so that people can pay. So selling is the number 1 money skill. So I said that there are 3 wealth skills. The first one is money making. But money making is not enough. The second wealth skill is money managing. Managing money. Oh my goodness. I have met many young people who make money. I have one of my boys, he has 2 jobs. One of his jobs, he's paid 1.5 million every month. It's a remote work job. In fact, that was even like last year. I don't know how much they pay him today. So we have young Nigerians. I don't know if they are in Oka. Young Nigerians in Lagos earning 3 million, 4 million every month, working from home. So there are people who make money, but they don't know how to manage money. And that is where the curse begins. And then you may have a friend, who everything they touch turns to gold. I know you know some people. They are very good at making money. They can wake up, travel to Kano, bring groundnut down here. Before you know it, they've sold the groundnut. They can start bringing in things from Jos, and sharing all of, and shipping all over the country, making lots of money. But then they are perpetually broke because they do not know how to manage money. You have to be able to tell your money where to go before it even comes. So the problem some of us have here is not that we don't make money, that we don't see money. The problem is that we have not instructed our money where to go. Money waits for instruction. And let me tell you something. If you don't instruct your money where to go, it will default to entertainment. And then you'll be there crying, there's no money, there's no money. The problem for so many people is not that there's no money. The day that I sat down, Chevron created an app, internal app, that allowed us to see how much we were paid since we joined the company. When I saw the money, I said, I said, where? I said, no. Like Nigerians will say, it's a lie. When I saw the money that had passed through my hands, do you know each of us, if you are 20 years, for instance, the amount of money that has passed through your hand, if you're 25 years, the amount of capital that God has given you every day. Can I tell you something else that I found out? When God told me that, I put it in that book I wrote. All of us were born capitalized, fully capitalized. Every human being was born fully capitalized. Look at the God we serve. He finishes things before he begins it. And if you look at the creation story in Genesis chapter 1, he did not create anything until he made the environment for that thing. So do you think that God will bring you into this world and had not fully capitalized you? No, he has. But what's the problem? We misuse capital. We misuse it. Look at the amount of money. You may be a civil servant and then you say, okay, maybe your salary is just 70,000 every month and all that. But the money that has come into your hand is a lot. So, managing money, telling your money where to go before it comes. If $1 million enters my account today, it will go within 24 hours. Because it already has assignments and proportions where to go. I don't keep money in my account. I do not keep a certain more than like money I will use for fuel or money I will use for food. And my son will tell you, because sometimes, he and the mother, they will be telling, they just say daddy, because when it comes to investing, telling my money where to go. If it comes now, within 24 hours, it's fully allocated to different assets where it's going to go. So managing money, it's important. I don't know how many of us even bother to do budgeting. Do you know if they tell you somebody asks you how much do you spend in gas every year? Do you know that many families will know? How much do you spend in gas? How much does palm oil, do you spend on palm oil every? Do you know many of us don't know? I didn't know too. But what happened though was, when my children started going outside the country, for their education, their universities made me feel a CSS profile. That thing opened my eyes. When your child is going to that university, they take your full financial profile. They send you this thing, and this thing they sent to me. Everything imaginable, just everything about your financial life. They ask, how much do you spend on food every month? How many cars do you have? What model? What year? They ask, Americans are just incredible when it comes to data keep. We don't keep that sort of thing here. They ask me all those questions. How much we paid in tax? How much my wife paid in tax? Jobs that we have done. If I have a business, what's the worth of my business? Do I have land? Do I have farmland? My goodness. All those questions, like your full financial. So that was the time it occurred to me. The reason many of you sitting here are having financial struggle is not because money doesn't come into your hand. It's because what you don't measure, you can't manage. Because you don't know. Do you know if you know how much you spend on food, how much you spend on gas, how much you spend on fuel, do you know how much the insight into that information can do for your money life? But we don't have all that information. Then, by the time, another thing that happened to me, by the time I finished feeling it for my first son, when he went off to study in the US, my eyes cleared. I used to think, at least, I'm not bad. When it comes to financial, I'm not bad. I was owing, I put all those debts there and all that. So at the end of it, what comes out at the end of it is your net worth. That's actually what all those things are trying to. By the time your net worth in naira is converted to dollar, you go humble. Your eyes go first blur. Aha! I know your language. Your eyes go first blur. That was when I knew, So before you booga, my sister and my brother, please convert your net worth to dollar. Your eyes go clear. Then all these people who are going around saying that they have money because they have cash and they have shop and they have 3 boys, working for them in their shop, your eyes go first blow. Okay. So, then the third skill when it comes to wealth building is money multiplying. Multiplying money. Because making the money is not enough. You must manage it. Managing money is not enough. Because you are just an accountant. Just managing money. It's not enough. But the real thing, the real skill, the real banger is knowing how to multiply money. The day you learn how to multiply asset, that's the day you can sleep very, very well. How do you multiply asset? How do you turn 2 fishes and 5 loaves into something that feeds 5,000 or 10,000 people? Do you understand the world of investment, the world of venture capital, the world of financial markets, the world of commodity markets? You see, because what I discovered in my life, one of the things that dragged me back, which I also discover is a problem for people 40 years and above that I minister to, that many of us never play in more than one market. There are at least 4 markets. There are 4 markets. And unfortunately, the university is only preparing people for one market, the market called the labor market. That is the worst market in the world, because you can never become financially free. You can never become wealthy in the labor market. That 9 to 5, it is impossible. I have been there myself. It's a roller coaster. You can never. So the labor market, the biggest problem with the labor market is that when you stop showing up, it stops. It stops. That money just dries up. So you have labor market, you have financial market, you have commodity market, and then you have finished goods market. These are different markets. So, but a lot of people spend literally their entire lives on labor market. No, you can never get rich, working for another person. But the labor market is a good entry point, because there's nothing wrong with employment or taking a job. Nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to settle there. You want to use it as a capital accumulation phase of your life. Then can I tell you another thing before I move on? Now, there's this scripture in Isaiah. Somebody can find it for me when I'm talking about it. It says, "So shall the words be that come up from." He said, "As the rain comes from heaven." Isaiah 50 something or so, 55, yes. And he said that it will not return to him except it has come down, watered the earth, and then he gives bread to the who? He gives bread to the what? And then seed to the who? So what I used to teach in my book, Financial Freedom for Every Youth, what I used to teach was that every part of every income that comes into our lives, into our pockets, has 2 parts. There is the seed part, and then there's a bread part. It's complete. It's true. It's true. Therefore, if all your salary comes in, or whatever amount of money comes into your pocket, if you eat all of it as bread, then you have just sown the seed of financial problems, because you've eaten your seed. Seed is not meant to be eaten. It's meant to be planted. That was what I used to teach, and it is totally correct. Until recently, one day I was meditating on that scripture, and God opened my eyes. He said, if it can be one person, but it is also 2 people. So he says to me that if you are an eater, God will make sure you have what? Bread. You will eat and eat and eat. That's why he said he's your shepherd. You will never lack. If you are an eater, God will make sure you have abundance of food. Abundance of food. Everywhere you turn, you have food. There's party. There's a lot. You come to your house, there's bags of rice. There's food to eat. That is God. But if you are the sower, God will make sure that you have seed. He gives bread to the eater. He gives, and then every man has to make a choice. Do you want to be a sower or do you want to be an eater? That is very, very powerful and very significant. Because what I discovered, I have a YouTube video that teaches that in full. What I discovered was, a lot of people come to tell me, oh, when I say, okay, there's this opportunity for this asset or something, and then they say, oh, but I don't have money to invest. How many people say that? How many people have said that too? I don't have money to invest. Put up your hand. Look at you. You say, I don't have money to invest. I can understand that. Because people are talking about investing and all that. You say, I don't have money to invest. And the worst situation that you can be in is, like there was a couple of years ago, 50 plus of land came out. And somebody came to tell me it was a distress sale. And it was authentic. And the money, what they were asking was ridiculous. Do you know I didn't have that money? The thing pained me, like Nigerians would say, pained me for... When you see asset, an opportunity to buy, but you do not have the capital. So do you know how to solve that problem? Do you want me to tell you how to solve that problem? So what I discovered was that if you are hungry enough to invest, if you become an investing fanatic, the money will come from places you never expected. Somebody in my group said, oh, so that thing you taught is very, very true. That as soon as, it was a Monday morning meditation, Okon. So he said, that is very, very true, that he wants to confirm that when he heard what I said, that once you become hungry to invest, that the money will come. He said that there was a man who was owing him for 2 years and he had forgotten. All of a sudden that money came. So, that is very important. So you need to plan, in your planning phase, you need to plan how income comes, you need to plan how you manage money, and then you need to plan how you multiply money. So you must have a plan. The next P in the pillar is process. So there's purpose, there's plan, there is process. Okay? And then anytime, any day, having a system beats hustle. You remember I told you that the secret of rich people is that the rich people repeat systems. Okay? Like Daddy here has created a system here in Nigeria. He repeated it in Ghana. He took the same thing, repeated in the US. Took the same thing, he's repeating it in the same place. They repeat systems. But we repeat tasks, So, process, you need to turn all the plans and everything into systems. Because the reason people hustle forever is because they don't have systems. Hustling is not a good thing. We've glorified hustle. It's okay if you're coming out from school and then you hustle. Maybe like 1 year, 2 years, in the way they call hustle. See? But if you've been hustling for 10 years, something is wrong. It shows you do not have a system. And I remember one young man. I don't know who he is. I don't hear that music again. Many years ago. I no go hustle till infinity, but I go do what? Now I time money till infinity. So it's a very funny song, but it has whatever. But there are a lot of people who have been hustling for 20 years. It only shows you don't have systems and strategy. You are trying to use an axe that is dull to cut a big tree. It's going to take a lot of energy. So you need processes. And then finally, you need patience. Oh, patience is a strategy. Is a wealth strategy. You cannot do without patience. And one of the things that shocked me is the patience of billionaires. I didn't imagine that billionaires were the kind of people who were patient. You see, because as they say, money talks. These people are patient. This billionaire that I worked for, that I consulted for, he told me a story that shocked me. That same day he was asking me, he said, look, I gave you work to do. I thought you were a man. You remember the story I told you? Then later, he now sat me down and told me a story. He said that there was a man who was running for governorship. He didn't tell me the state. He said every single day, this man was in his house. Every single day, licking his boot. He was there. And he eventually sponsored this man. That was also the day I discovered that billionaires also do some things that some of us don't do. They sponsor senators and governors. They sponsor. I've met two people who told me that. I'm like, wait, okay. So this man now became governor. Shortly after that, he stopped picking his calls. Then one day, after a long time, he now got an appointment. The governor gave him an appointment. This man told me that he went, and this governor kept him in his guest house for 3 days. Billionaire. Somebody you put in power. This man said he stayed in his guest house. He was telling me he stayed in his guest house for 3 days before the governor called him. I was saying in my heart, if not that you're the one telling me this, if somebody else tells me this, how will I believe? I said, what kind of patience is that? Because some of us, I put you there, and you are telling me to come and wait. Okay, you will see. And then they will leave. This man waited 3 days. Because what I discovered is that once they set their minds to get something, they will go through whatever it takes to get it. They are very patient. And then sometimes you hear a deal, they just concluded a deal, and you think it happened overnight. Some of the deals, the big deals that they're talking about, took 5 years, 7, 10 years. And then they will invest money today and wait patiently for 10 years, for 5 years, for 7 years before they start seeing any profit. And they will wait. But what do some of us do? If we put it in the ground today and it doesn't germinate by tomorrow, we go and dig it up and then look at it again. We prophesy to it, put it back. And then, but patience is important. Patience allows you to practice delayed gratification, because wealth is impossible without delayed gratification. Like impossible without delayed gratification. I don't have a car right now. I haven't had a car for a couple of years because my wife and I were returning from the US 2 years ago, and in the plane, God came, he said, that's your Sienna. I love that Sienna because I picked it myself. You remember my Sienna? I picked it myself from the US. And when they picked it myself, drove it from the place we bought it to where they shipped it to Nigeria. Beautiful, clean, nice. And then it was like God was speaking to Isaac. It was like when he spoke to Abraham about Isaac. So we're flying in, and in mid-air, he said, that's your Sienna. Give it to this. Give it to that brother. I shook myself. I said, I said, which Sienna? I said, this is not, I almost, but now I've learned not to rebuke. Because I almost started rebuking the voice. So I didn't talk to my wife. I didn't tell her about it yet. Then the thing kept on coming. Take that car. When you get back, give it to that brother. So I was saying, this is the only one I have. That's what. So I have a truck that I use, a diesel truck that I use to do my farming and then a few things I do on bad roads. But it's difficult to be driving that thing around the city, but I'm forced to, because anywhere you go and park, sometimes, once you park, nobody else can park there. And to maneuver the thing and come inside town is terrible. So I wasn't using that for moving inside town. So so I told my wife, this is what I'm hearing, and her own, the way she has always been. He said, if the Lord said so, then give it. She makes it so easy for me to obey God. Because some sisters will say, go and hear well, which other one are we going to use? My wife just said, go ahead and give it to me if the Lord said so. Well, long story cut short, when we came back, we gave this very. So he was so shocked that he was like, no, I can't even do this. I can't take it. This is your kind. I said, It's not me giving it to you. Do you think it's me? I will give it. I was commanded. Because he was out there that evening, he was weeping and all that. I said, so he said, no. He said, Ogbo the Great, I can't do this. He calls me Ogbo the Great. He said, Ogbo, I can't do this. I can't take it. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. He said, no, please, I appreciate. But I said, do you think it's me? I told him, take it. The Lord commanded, and I can't say whatever. So I gave him. So I haven't had a car for about 2 years. And each time I want a car real badly. But do you know what happened? Several times in the past 2 years, money has come to buy car. Even 3 weekends ago, I did a job for a bank. The money was enough to buy a car. But each time, then sometime last year, money came, big money, to buy a car. But each time it came to buy a car, I said, because if you come to where I stay, I use keke sometimes. The only one I stopped using is Okada, because I discovered that those people smoke, they take something. And they say, at this my age, if I fall off that thing, what am I going to tell people? So, but I enter keke because I said, look, I can, do this. I can, whatever. I can delay. That's just the story I'm giving you. God has been faithful. He has multiplied several times the money I used to buy that Sienna. He's multiplied it several times. But each time it came, I said, I can delay that a little bit because there were opportunities to build assets. And I tell you, some of the assets I have built from that money, it's incredible, I can tell you, because I want you to get to a point where that money can afford to buy me 5 Siennas. And I'm almost getting there. Delayed gratification. And if at 60, I'm delaying gratification, how much more you at this age? Many of you in Nigeria, once you get bulk money, the first thing you think about is buying a car. And I remember the day I came online, I was telling you, please do not buy a car until you have got a corner piece and built your own house. Nigerians attacked me. This one say, I need car so that when I go to, I drive, they will give me a job. They will give me that I need it. They were attacking me, but they didn't know what I was talking about. Talking about delayed gratification. Patience is important to wealth. Because I discovered that all the times in my younger year I've lost money were the times I went to get rich quick thing. And many of us want to get rich quick, but it never works. So patience is a strategy. So in summary, the 4 pillars of the billionaire mindset is: number 1, purpose; number 2, number 3, and then number 4. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a way to receive.